Welcome, my dear students. I'm Basaraj Suri, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Government Special College, Nolgunda. Today, we will discuss about translation of balance sheet, the subject of principles of foreign exchange, become 6th semester, Karnataka University, Dharwad. We will take one problem from question paper. This problem is asked for the 50 marks. The problem like that. Translate the following balance sheet under historical rate, current rate, and current and non-current rate as on 31st 3, 2006. So in the given balance sheet, we have to convert into the current rate and the current and non-current rate and historical rate. The historical rate are given $1 equals to rupees 50, and the current rate there also given $1 equals to rupees 60. In the balance sheet, the particulars are given, the note as related to the items and amount in rupees. This is very important as conversion of a balance sheet in one currency to the another currency. Here in this balance sheet, the balance sheet amount is given in a rupees. So when we are translating the balance sheet to the dollar, we have to divide these values from the historical rate and current rate, because the $1 equals to 50 rupees. Here the dollar value is more than the rupee value. In a problem, they are given in the value as a rupees. When you make convert into balance it as a dollar. So if we show the values in a dollar, we have to divide the rupees into a dollar. That's 5 lakh divided by 15. So in case if the problem is given in a dollar, if the amount in dollar, then as said, convert this balance sheet into Indian rupees. Then what to do? Then that time, this a dollar value has to be multiplied into historical rate and current rate. Then we will get the balance sheet amount in a rupees. This must be very careful when you are going to translate the balance sheet. Now we will look about the balance sheet items. The particulars equity and liabilities are there given. Shareholders fund in a share capital as 5 lakh. Reserve and surplus second item 2 lakh 50,000. And long-term liability, long-term borrowings 2 lakh rupees as a debentures. Current liabilities 4 lakh. Fourth item 3 lakh rupees. The total 12 lakh 50,000. In assets, non-current assets, tangible fixed assets is a 5 lakh. Investment, sixth one, 2 lakh 50,000. And current assets, inventories, seventh item, 1 lakh 50,000. Trade receivables, eighth item, 1 lakh rupees. Cash and cash equivalents, 2 lakh 50,000. When we are preparing the balance sheet, hence converting into a dollar, so we have to take the columns as a particulars, note, and amount in rupees. Then this should be converted into historical rate, and current and non-current rate. Then after translating the above balance sheet, find the profit or loss. That means when we translate the balance sheet from rupees to dollar, we have to check whether we will get the profit or loss from the conversion of rupees to dollar. So this is as a balance sheet translation of a balance sheet of subsidiary company as on 31st 2016. So this balance sheet is translated to dollars from Indian rupees to dollar. The particulars, the note, then as related items, then amount in rupees, then the dollars in historical rate is a fourth column. The dollars in historical rate, that means $1 equals to 50 rupees. When you are going to convert the values into dollar, we have to divide the values by 50 rupees. Then we'll get the dollar. Next, the dollars in current rate. The current rate for $1 equals to 60 rupees. Again, we have to divide the value amount in rupees by 60. Then we got the current dollar. Then last column is the dollar in current and non-current rate. So here, which item you have to take it here? So here the fourth column says as a historical rate, and the fifth column says as a current rate. Then what's this dollar in current and non-current rate? On the basis of balance sheet items, the which items as related to a current items that might be a current assets and current liabilities that should be taken into a current value. So here the inventories as a current assets, then trade receivable current assets, cash and equivalents current items. So here the same value has to be current items, current value is taken into the last column, the current rate. Then tangible assets as a non-current assets. So investment as a long-term non-current assets. So it should be taken into a historical rate as a historical rate. Now, as the same long-term liabilities also, long-term borrowings. So it's a non-current item. So it should be taken as a historical rate, as the same historical rate. The current liabilities here as a 5,000 rupees. So in a dollars in current and non-current has to be current value. Next, we'll fill all the columns according to the values. So this is the column, particular note, amount in rupees, dollars in historical rate. The third column as amount in rupees divided by 50, the dollars in the current rate. So this is divided by 60, dollars in current and non-current. So it should be taken as items on the basis of balance sheet items. So which are current has to be current value, which are historical and it should be taken as a historical values. If in case the amount is given in a dollar and told that to translate in a amount. Then what to do? Then that time the third column amount in a dollar has to be multiplied by the 50. So this is become as a amount in historical rate. Then that time you have to multiply the values of dollar. So in this case, they are given in a amount in rupees. So we are going to convert it into a dollar. So we have to divide it. The third column divided by 50 rupees historical rate. We got the dollar. This is a $10,000, $5,000, $3,000. The same dollars in a current rate. The third column, the value has to be divided by 60 because 60 is the current rate per dollar. If it is in a given dollar and they told that to make convert into rupees, then we have to multiply the amount in dollar. That time the value will become as a rupees. So we will translate the amount into dollar in this problem. The first one, the assets. In assets, fixed tangible fixed assets is the fifth item. The value is of 5 lakh rupees. Then dollar in historical rate at the 5 lakh is converting into a dollar as historical rate. The historical rate is the 50. Then 5 lakh divided by 50, it becomes as a 10,000. Then dollars into current rate, the $1 equal to 60 rupees as a current rate. And 5 lakh divided by 60, 8,333 dollars. The next dollars in current and non-current item, the tangible fixed assets is the non-current item, so it should be taken the values of historical rate as a 10,000. The next investment. Investment is 2,50,000 as a rupees. When you make a converting into historical rate, 2,50,000 into 50 rupees is become as a 5,000. In a current rate, 2,50,000 divided by 60, it becomes a 4,167. So this is also non-current item. So because it should be treated as a long-term uh, assets, as a fixed assets, investment. So 4167 as the current item. So it is not a current item, so it should be taken into as a historical rate in a current and non-current item. Next, inventories. Inventories as a 1,50,000. 1,50,000 divided by 50, so it should be $3,000 in a historical rate. Dollars in a current rate, then 1,50,000 divided by 60, so it is a 2,500. Inventories is a current assets as a current item, so it should be in a current and non-current item. It should be taken as a 2,500 as a current item. Trade receivable or a bills receivable, it's 1 lakh. The 1 lakh divided by 50, that's 2000 in a historical rate. The dollars in a current rate, the 1 lakh divided by 60, so it is a 1667. This is a current assets as a current item, so it should be taken the value of 1667 in a current rate. Then cash and cash equivalents, obviously it is also current assets, 2,50,000 divided by 50 because historical rate $1 equals to 50, then 5,000. The next in dollars in a current assets, 2,50,000 divided by 60, so 4,167. This is also current item, so the value has to be taken as a 4,167. Now the amount in rupees, the total assets 2,50,000. The dollars in historical rate, total assets $25,000, then dollars in current rate $20,833, and dollars in current and non-current rate $23,334. Now we look about the liabilities, long-term borrowings. Long-term borrowings as a third item. The total value of the long-term borrowings is a 2 lakh. Then the in a dollars in historical rate converting divided by 50, it will become 4,000. So in a dollars in a current rate, it is at $1 equals to 60,000. Then 2 lakh divided by 60, 3,333. The long-term borrowings is a long-term item, so it's not a current item. So here it should be taken into current rate in the column of dollars in current and non-current rate. Next, the current liabilities as a fourth column, as a 3 lakh rupees as a value, it should be divided into 50. We got the 6,000 as a dollars in a historical rate. Dollars in a current rate divided by 60 as a 3 lakh, we got 5,000. Current liability, obviously it's a current item. So in a last column, dollars in a current and non-current, it should be taken as a current value. Next, shareholders equity. So here, share capital and reserves has to be taken into one column. So the both the same, share capital and reserve. In a balance sheet, they're given the different value, share capital and reserves, but in conversion, we have to take the value as the same, share capital and reserves. So it's the total amount for share capital and reserves, 7,50,000. When you compare it to the historical rate of the dollar, so 7,50,000 divided by 50, 15,000, and convert in dollars into current rate, it should be 7,50,000 divided by 60, 12,500. Next, here in the column dollars in current and non-current, the share capital reserves value has to be taken from the balancing figure. This is a very important. Look at here. It's a very important. So when we taking a share capital reserves in a dollars in current and non-current rate should be taken as a balancing figure. Which balancing figure? So here I have to take the total assets as 23,334 and minus 4,000 and 5,000 as outside liabilities. Then we got as a 14,334. It should not be taken as a current item, as a historical item, but it should be taken from the balancing figure. Balancing figure such as the total assets 2,23,334 minus outside liabilities as 4,000 and 5,000. We got the value as a 14,334. Now, the total liabilities in amount, the 12,50,000 in dollars of historical rate, $25,000, then dollars in a current rate, 20,833, dollars and dollars in the current and non-current rate 23,334. Now we have to calculate whether we have get the gain or loss from this conversion from amount to rupees. How to find this gain or loss? We have to find the gain or loss on the basis of share capital and reserves. We have to find the difference between this value as a dollars in a current and non-current item minus historical rate. The dollars in current and non-current item 14,334 minus 15,000. If you get the minus value, that means minus 664. When you make the 14,334 minus 15,000, we got as minus 6,666 rupees. So it is as a loss of the current and non-current rate. As the same, we have to find the gain or loss in the current rate. So we have to take 12,500 minus 15,000. We got it as a minus 2,500. That means this is also a loss of conversion from dollar rupees to dollar in a current rate. So this is a way as calculation of gain or loss. So this value note. So this as a note, what I told as the 14,334. So it should be taken from the 23,334 minus 4,000 plus 5,000. So 23,334, it is the value of total assets, and this is the 4,000, 5,000 the current outside current liabilities. So balancing figure of total assets of current and non-current item and outside liabilities of current and non-current items. Then gain or loss is the difference between the capital at historical cost with the translated amount of current rate and current and non-current rate. Then how to find the gain or loss? So the item has taken as a equity shares or shares and share capital as a reserves. So as to make a compare with the current rate to historical rate and current and non-current rate to historical rate, we get it as a gain or loss. If the balancing figure as difference amount is in a negative, then it's a loss. If it is a positive, then it's a gain. So first one, gain or loss in current rate. So find the gain or loss in a current rate. Current rate of share capital and reserves minus historical rate of share capital and reserves. So we take the values here. So 12,500 as a current rate of share capital and reserves minus historical rate of share capital reserves is 15,000. So 2,000 minus 2,500, it's a loss. We will look at a balance sheet. So look at here, the gain or loss in a current rate. So here the 12,500 is the share capital reserve and reserve in a current item minus share capital and reserve in a historical rate. So 12,500 minus 15,000, we got as a minus 2,500. It is a loss. Current rate of share capital minus and reserve minus historical rate of share capital and reserve 12,500 minus 15,000 minus 2,000 is a loss. As the same, gain or loss in a current non-current equals to current and non-current of share capital and reserve minus historical rate of share capital and reserve. Current and non-current share capital reserve is 14,334 and historical rate of share capital and reserve is at 15,000. We got minus 666 as a loss. We look at in a balance sheet. So here the current and non-current share capital reserve is a 14,334 and historical rate the share capital reserves of 15,000. 14,334 minus 15,000 is a minus 666. So it is a loss. So that means the conversion of balance sheet from amount to dollar, we got a loss as in a current rate, as in a current and non-current rate. Next, before going to the another problem. So we'll summarize the balance sheet here. So these are very important here as a conversion from amount to dollar. If in a balance sheet they are given in a rupees, if the balance sheet is given in a rupees, then we have to divided the value by dollar. Then we will got the historical rate, current rate, and non-current rate. If the balance sheet given in a dollar, if given in a dollar, then they told us convert into rupees. You have to multiply the values. Then you will got the historical rate, and current and non-current rate. We will also look about one problem as conversion of rupees to dollar. So this problem is asked in 2015. Translate the following balance sheet under historical rate and current and non-current rate method. Historical rate 1 pound equals to rupees 90. Current rate 1 pound equals to rupees 100. The balance sheet in pound. Look at here. They're given the balance sheet in pound. That means these are the values are in pound, not in a rupees. We have to convert this balance sheet from pound to amount rupees. Then what to do? We have to multiply these values into as historical rate 90 and current rate 100. Why? The historical rate at the pound is more value than the rupees. So when you are converting pound to rupees, we have to multiply, or whether in a dollar to rupees, that time also we have to multiply. In any case, if any currency they are given which are more value than the rupees, then we have to multiply it. Okay. Next, we will look about this problem. The balance sheet in pound, the liabilities are given, equity that is called as a share capital, share reserves, or like that, and long-term loan they are given. Then current liability. The total $1,17,000, and financial assets $45,000, stock $18,000, bills receivable $36,000, bank $18,000, total $1,17,000. So these balance sheet given in a pound, we have to convert into rupees. Next, balance sheet is translated to rupees. The particulars, the first column is amount in pound, particular in pound. The next column, historical rate in rupees. Then current rate in rupees. Current and non-current rate in rupees. We have to convert into rupees. What we have to do? They are given in a pound. When you make the converted into historical rate, we have to multiply the historical rate to the pound, and we have to multiply the in a current rate, we have to multiply the current rate to pound. So in current and non-current, which are the current items that should be taken as the current item, which are not non-current item, I should be taken in a non-current items. That's it. So here, first we look at the assets. In assets, fixed assets. Fixed assets, the total $45,000 pound is there. When you convert into a pound in a historical rate, a historical rate 1 pound equals to 90 rupees. So when converting the 45,000 into rupees, pound to rupees, so we have to multiply it. In earlier balance sheet, we divided. Why we are divided? Because in that case, their amount is given in a rupees. We are going to convert into dollar. We have multiplied. But in this case, in this balance sheet, they are given in a amount in a pound. We are going to convert into rupees. So in this case, the 45,000 pound as converting to rupees, we have to multiply the 90 historical rate. 1 pound equals 90 as multiplying to 45,000. We got a 40,50,000 rupees. 40,50,000 rupees. And in a current rate, 1 pound equals to 100 rupees. The 45,000 into 100, 45 lakh rupees. Then in the current and non-current rupees, so fixed assets is a long term, so it's a non-current item. It should be taken into non-current value as a historical value, 40 lakh 50,000. So 40 lakh 50,000. The next current asset, stock is a current asset. The value is 18,000 pound. When we convert into rupees, has multiplied into 100 in historical rate, 16 lakh 20,000. When you convert into current and current rate, has 1 pound equals to 100, 18,000 into 100, 18 lakh. Then the stock is a current item, so we have to take the value of current rate in a current and non-current column. Next, bills receivable obviously is also current item. The 36,000 is a pound. We convert into rupees as into 90,000. So 32 lakh 40,000 rupees in historical rate. In a current rate, 36,000 into 100 rupees as a 36 lakh. The bills receivable is a current item. It should be taken into current rate in a current and non-current value. In the bank, obviously it's a current item. Then 80,000 pound is the in historical rate and convert into rupees into 90,000, 16 lakh 20,000. Current rate in a rupees as 100 into 18,000, 18 lakh. It is also a current item, so it should be taken into current value as a 18 lakh. The total assets are the amount in a pound as 1 lakh 17,000 pound. Historical rate in rupees, 1 crore 5 lakh 30,000 rupees. Current rate in rupees, 1 crore 17 lakh rupees. Current and non-current rupees, 1 crore 12 lakh 50,000 rupees. Next, we'll go for the liability side, equity and liabilities. First, long-term loan. There you go, 90,000 pound. 90,000 has converted into Indian rupees. 90,000 into what we have to do? Multiply into 90 as 81 lakh. In a current rate, 90,000 into 100 as a 90 lakh. So it is a long-term loan. It's a non-current item. So we have to take the value of historical rate, 81 lakh. Then current liabilities, obviously it's a current item, 18,000 pound, and convert into historical rate, 18,000 into 90, 16,000, 20,000, 16 lakh 20,000 rupees, and convert into current rate as a 1 pound equals to 100, 18,000 into 100, 18 lakh rupees. This is also a current item, so it should be taken as a current value as 18 lakh rupees. Next, equity. Equity is 9,000 pound. So equity sometimes they're given in a problem, equity or share capital and reserves. Sometimes they're given in the separately share capital and reserves. So in conversion, we have to take it as a same share and share capital reserves and equity. 9,000 pound in converting to historical rate, 9,000 into 90, 8 lakh 10,000 rupees, and current rate in a rupees, 9,000 into 100 as a 9 lakh rupees. The next, how to take this value? So here, this is a 13 lakh 50,000. It's a balancing figure. So equity, it's not to be taken from current and non-current as historical and non-historical rate. It should be taken from the balance sheet. Then how to take this value? This is the balancing figure of total assets of a current and non-current as a 1 crore 12 lakh 50,000. 1 crore 12 lakh 50,000. It's the value total assets as a total liabilities equal to the total assets minus outside liabilities. That means 81 lakh as a long-term loan and current liabilities as a 18 lakh. So 1 crore 12 lakh 50,000 minus 81 lakh minus 18 lakh we got as a 13 lakh 50,000 is a current and non-current rate of the equity as a share capital. It should be said as a balancing figure. So it should not be convert as a rupees. It should be the value here. This is very important. This value has to be taken from the balance sheet as equity. So 1 crore 12 lakh 50,000 minus 81,000 minus 18,000 as long-term liability and current liability. We got the equity values of current and non-current value. Now, the total liabilities is 1,17,000 pound. Then historical rate of the total liabilities 1 crore 5 lakh 30,000 rupees, and the current rate of 1 crore 17 lakh rupees, and current and non-current rate total liability 1 crore 12 lakh 50,000 rupees. Then, how to find the gain or loss? We already discussed about the finding the gain or loss. For find the gain or loss, we have to take the value equity or equity shares plus reserves. Then compare this equity value of current and non-current to historical. This value to historical. That's current and non-current gain or loss. Then current and non-current rate as a 1 lakh 31 crore 13 lakh 50,000 as a current and non-current value minus this value, that is a historical rate of the equity, that is a 8 lakh 10,000. So we got the value 5 lakh 40,000. It's a plus value, positive value, so it's a gain from conversion from pound to rupees in a current and non-current rate. The next gain or loss in a current rate in this. So we have to compare the equity value of current into the equity value of historical rate. That means current rate as a 9 lakh minus equity value in historical rate 8 lakh 10,000. So that's a 90,000. So this is also plus. That means so gain from the conversion of pound to dollar in a current rate. So this is a calculation as a conversion from balance sheet one currency to the another currency. Here the important thing is as conversion. If in given in any other currency which the value is more than the rupees, then we have to multiply. Then in amount they are given in rupees, then converting into other currency which the value is more than the rupees, then we have to divide. Then equity share capital current and non-current value has to be taken as a balance sheet figure. Then current and non-current gain or loss are calculated with the equity base value as current and non-current value of the equity minus historical rate of the current and non-current equity. Then current rate again has to be calculated with the current equity value minus historical equity value. If it is a plus, then it's a gain from the conversion. If it is a minus, it's a loss from the conversion. Hope you people are understand about how to convert the balance sheet from one currency to the another currency. Thank you guys.